Could you please give me your names, each of you?
Okay. Art Garcia.
Okay. No? Name?
Amado Peña.
José Gutiérrez.
Robert Magdaleno.
Yes.
Well, mi nombre es Alejo Soto, but they call me Echo,
Echo?
nickname.
Okay, you all have nicknames, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a nickname now?
I had a Hungarian one, but that don't count.
Okay. You go by Mo,
Pepe.
Pepe, do you? No.
Roberto.
Roberto, okay, great. When did you first move here, or were you born in Lorain? Tell me about your history in Lorain, Ohio.
Deja él primero, que es el más, he's the godfather.
Okay.
We're going down the line.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised in the city of Lorain.
Okay, okay. And your heritage is Puerto Rican or Mexican?
Mexican.
Okay.
Amado Peña, I was born in Fort Worth, Texas. My father was born in Laredo, Texas. My mother was born in San Luis Potosí.
And when did you move?
And I came to Lorain after I got discharged from the Navy. I came to Lorain in 1947. And I've been here since then. And I'm retired now.
Okay, okay.
I was born in 1935. My father came from Mexico, from the state of Guanajuato, a little town outside of Leon, Purísima, Rincon. And my father migrated here in 1922. And in 1926, he brought my mother up from Mexico. She had 3 boys, Jesus, Santiago, and Anselmo. They were all born in Mexico. My 3 sisters were born here after I had a brother that was born. He died when he was 1 year old. And my 3 sisters were born after then I was born. I was the last of 7. And when my father came up here, he crossed the border because of the war in Mexico between
The U.S., yeah, Mexican American.
yes, Mexican American. He moved up here, but he traveled the whole West, and he ended up in Lorain because he ended up at the steel plant, U.S. Steel, and he worked in the coal plant. And we brought my mother up. That I was born here in 1935. So 3 brothers served in the service, and that's how they got their citizenship. My father, he studied and became a naturalized citizen. My mother couldn't do it because she didn't want it. English was too tough for her. So that's how I got it.
Okay, great.
I was born in 1940. Grew up here. I did live in Mexico for 22 months. 69, 70, and 71. Both of my parents are from Jalisco, Mexico. And my father came around 1925. He left because of the revolution. Kaya was against Catholicism, and it was too risky.
¿O yo?
Usted.
Okay. Cantar muy blank. No, mi papá era de México, de Jalisco, y mi mamá era de México también, pero ella era una india de Calambiaca, and they made in Fort Worth, Texas. Mi papá también se vino de allá porque había una revolución, y él y su hermana se vinieron para acá, cruzaron por el río porque le mataron a toda la familia, y ellos se vinieron para acá porque no andaban sufriendo allá y se vinieron para acá, y luego de acá se encontró con mi mamá y se casaron, y de ese casamiento salimos como 12 o 15 de la familia y yo soy el número 13, no, 11 de la familia y yo soy nacido en Rockford, Ohio. Pues mi papá y mi mamá y mucha gente de Texas vienen a pescar para acá tomate y lechuga, pepino y calabaza y todo eso. Por eso yo fui nacido acá, porque todos mis hermanos mayores vinieron y mis hermanas. Y luego cada invierno se iban para atrás. Y así estaban, y luego yo me crié en Fort West. Nacido aquí, luego el 43 por ahí nos fuimos para atrás. Y luego ya para acá, mi papá ya nunca vino. Yo creo allá, pero a los 17 años mi hermano me trajo para acá, de Texas. Y me vine para acá en 56. Y ya quise ya mi casa, bueno, iba a visitarlo cuando estaba viviendo y todo. Tengo hermanas ahí, un hermano allá ahora que sobra y un hermano aquí en Lorain, pero yo vivo en Noble, Ohio. Y así vine de allá para acá en 56, de 17 años. A vivir con un hermano mío, el mayor, Tony Soto.
What was it like growing up in Ohio?
Growing up,
Yeah, growing up here. What was it like? What were the good things, the bad things, the happy times, the difficult times?
I had a happy time.
Vale.
And, yo te conozco, tenías unos 3 años o
Baby
baby.
pañales, yo.
Yeah.
He's just like a brother to me.
Nunca me habías dicho todo eso a mí.
¿De qué?
Todo lo que me estás diciendo a él.
No, porque una vez me preguntaste. No, él es como un hermano mayor para nuestra familia. Mis hermanos y hermanas, ellos se crean como mi papá. Él es como un hermano para mí.
Yo me juntaba con el papá de él también, happy hour. No, yo cuando llegué aquí, pues llegamos a trabajar aquí a era National Troop en ese tiempo. Ya cambiaron el nombre de 3 o 4 veces. Pero el hermano de él me trajo, no me trajo, sino que yo y él vinimos juntos aquí y trabajamos ahí en National Troop. Yo trabajé 37 años ahí y después de 49 compré una casa y luego fui a traer a mi madre y a mis hermanos, tenía 3 hermanos y una hermana. Me los traje para acá, así ya no tenía que yo criarme yo solo. Traje a mi madre y ella me lavaba, me cocinaba y todo eso. Y ya fue todo diferente. Ya te digo, trabajamos ahí por mucho tiempo. También nos hicimos compadres, yo y el hermano de él. Y trabajamos ahí hasta que nos retiramos. Ya. Y pasamos el tiempo.
Okay. Pepe and I were neighbors. We lived across the street from each other. The stories I would tell you would be probably the same ones that he would give as far as growing up in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We lived in a mixed neighborhood, let's put it that way.
Really mixed.
Okay, we had everything. We had Lebanese, we had Greeks, Hungarians, we had neighbors that were Hungarian, we had blacks and
Polish.
we had Polish, we had Appalachian whites. They will call
Every
that.
nationality you think that we had.
Okay.
But Pepe can agree with what I'm going to say. We grew up, how would you say, in our little world. We had games that we played. We didn't have no playground per se. We had an empty lot that we played in. We used a rag tape for baseball, or we would use sticks, maybe 18 inches long. Don't you be
Yeah.
about 18 inches long. We'd point them on one end, and we would call the game Stick in the Mud. This game was, a hole was not necessarily dug, but that was wet down with mud. And everybody had a stick, and everybody recognized your own stick. You would stick it in the ground. The other guy would come by and would try to knock it down. Okay? Make it flat. And we would continue on. And the one that got knocked down, the one that did the knocking, okay, would take it to his stick, and hit the one that was down, and hit it as far as he could. And I forgot how many do we have to count to? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
We had to count to a specific number before he came back with his own stick, because he had to go retrieve it. But that was one of the games that we played. We played hide the belt. I'm not sure about growing up in Matamoros, but in Lorain, Ohio, on this street we did the 1500 block between Wood Avenue and Vine Avenue in South Lorain. We would, someone would be selected to go hide the belt, and the other participants would go look for it. Sometimes you would find it, but you wouldn't say you found it, because you wanted to get the greatest amount of people closest to it, so that you could take that belt and whack them with it. Am I right so far, Victor?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what we would do. This is part of our growing up in South Lorain. And well, on 30th Street, that was another game that we played. We played marbles, of course. There was a game that was called, we used to, when it was raining,
What was the one we played across the street?
kick the can,
Yeah.
hide the belt, and we played mumbly peg.
Yeah.
Okay, mumbly peg was you took a matchstick, the old matches that they use in Mexico, and we put a little point on it. And we would play with a knife, and we would strike it, and you would stand there, and you'd have to put your foot out to that part. Okay? You would go further and further and further until you no longer could go. So you lost. So the guy who made you lose would take this little match, put it in the ground, and smack it, and try to get as close to the ground as you could. For the guy who lost, he had to go down there with his mouth and go down there and try to pick up this matchstick with his mouth, with his teeth. These are games that we had. We had no recall. We had no supervision as far as that goes. We had older kids that would come out and play with us sometimes. But not just
And bicycles?
Oh, we didn't have bicycles until years later.
So that was a luxury to have a bike.
That was another game that we played.
We walked every place.
We had a game, use a penknife, and you would usually play baseball. It was called baseball. There was a certain way that you would have to flip the knife, and if it landed on with the 2 points, it was a single. If it went just on the point, it was double. If it went straight up, it was a home run. If you hit it, you turned the knife and it went around and went flat, you were out. All right? That was when it was a day like early this morning when it was raining like hell, and there was nothing to do. So this is the game that we would play among ourselves, in each other's backyard or whatever. But these are some of the things that we played.
That's part of our growing up. Stuff wasn't back then. Everybody respected everybody in the neighborhood, no matter where. People didn't lock their doors. Everybody respected everybody's space. Everybody. It didn't matter what. And you never did anything bad. If you did anything bad, you were in a treat from your mother or father. You treated everybody with respect. You didn't get in trouble, because if you got in trouble, you would get it. But we never had problems. But when we went out, we didn't have supervision. We just played among ourselves, and basically that's where we grew up. I'm still flabbergasted at the fact that I think I was 7, 8 years old, and sometimes I leave the house in the morning after breakfast, and I didn't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. But we didn't do anything mischievous, or we didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we were outside, we always had something to do. We would all agree Whether we were gonna play stick in the mud, or we were gonna play hide and bell, or whatever game that we decided we were going to play. We would argue among ourselves, but it never came to the point where we argued with anger.
Yeah,
You understand? It was like baseball argument,
yeah.
okay? But we never, and that's why he and I are probably, among all of us here, we grew up together. So whatever stories I would tell, he would know exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
What he was talking about, that you respect one another, you trust everybody, you walk on the street. That's what made me decide to stay here in Lorain, because it was peaceful over here. It was peaceful over here. There was if we had a little dance or a party or whatever, you never heard of anybody getting stabbed or shot or anything like that. In Fort Worth, where I grew up, well, I was 20 years when I came here, so I did my growing up over there in Fort Worth until I went to the service. But over there, I mean, you went to a dance or anything like that, had to be some kind of a fight, disturbance, stabbing or shooting. And then another thing, there was a lot of prejudice, discrimination. Cop could pick you up for anything. You could be on the street, if you're in a bunch, they'd pick you up, put you in a paddy wagon, and go to jail. And you were at the bar, like I was old enough to go to the bar. Sometimes the police barge in there, and okay, everybody up against the wall. And okay, get out of here. There was get out of here. So we walked out. I thought I was going out. Paddy wagon was open, doors open, ready to load us up. They picked up so often that we got used to going over there. We would rush out of the paddy wagon to get booked up and hurry up so we would get a bump. Otherwise, you'd sleep on the floor. Next day, they turn loose.
What, did you ever experience anything like that here in Ohio? Or was
No.
it completely opposite?
We didn't have that problem.
We don't have
Not for that. No, like I said, over here in Lorain, you could walk the street. I mean, I didn't have to go walk all over. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of anybody.
Why do you think that is, I mean, in a place like Ohio versus a place like Texas, why were people more accepting maybe, or less prejudiced?
For one thing, there was more Mexicans over there.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah.
It's like California.
Mhm.
El Paso, 64%
I
Mexican.
think we had 600 families originally. Originally from the original group was Mexicans that came up, and that was in the 20s and 30s, and then the Tejanos that came from Texas. They came up in the 40s and 50s and stuff like that. But basically, everybody respected everybody's space. Nobody violated anybody's space. Not only that, we had the church where all the Mexicans went to St. John's, and we all went. And no matter where we went, we walked. And then the war, Second World War started in 1941. All my two brothers were in the service, and they weren't home, and then my three sisters were there, but basically, everybody just worked, and that's it. We never seen our parents. I never seen my father. My father, because of the steel plant, it was crucial to the national defense, so they had to work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. And all the top jobs in the plant, from the blast furnace to the coke plant, were all Mexicans.
Yeah, I got it.
All Mexican, because they were a little bit segregated. In the machine shop, they were English, Scottish. Boiler shop, they were Hungarian, Polacks. Everything in the plant was segregated because depending on where you came from. And my father worked in a plant, in a coke plant for 32 years. He died from black lung. All the top jobs, the blast furnace, all the keepers was top dog. They were the ones that ran the furnace. They were all Mexicans. Apolinar Gonzalez, Martin Cornicho, Louis Guilla.
Delgado, Cornelio,
Yeah, all these guys.
Limon.
Yeah, they were all top. They had to stay there because they were the only ones that knew how to run the place. But we got they used to get paid every 2 weeks, and they would pay cash. So these men, the men would, well, you all Mexicans are with their drinking. As soon as they got paid, all up from Vine Street to Grove, you could walk in one bar all the way down. And a lot of the guys would get lost, wouldn't even make it home. I don't know how many times I picked up somebody's dad, they're coming down Vine Street or whatever, and I'd grab by him, come on, I'd take you home. And I would take him home. But everybody was,
There were no problems.
there was no problem, everybody was free, you know, this and that.
Looking out for each other,
Looking
okay,
out for-
yeah.
But the funny thing about the war was that these guys had to work so much that when they get their payday, they would get drunk and they wouldn't even make it home. I hardly see my father during the Second War because he was all the time working. And what the plant would do is when the guys didn't show up for work, they would get a bus out of the plant and the guards and the general foreman would go up and down 28th Street looking for them, throw them in the bus, take them to work, give them some coffee, tell them to go sleep for a while and get back to work. And that's the way it was. That was my, the war ended, and I was 10 years old by the time it ended. But basically, everybody lived together. And the Mexican Mutual, the Mexicans started the Mexican Mutual. The original.
Mexican Mutual Society.
Yeah, they started, that was part, it was a benefit club, basically. If somebody got sick, they would give them $1 a day from the time they were off work. And that's how the Mexicans started. Yeah, everybody took care of them. We always had fiestas over, we had dances and stuff like that. But it was fun growing up. And then, to me, it was just fun because we didn't have no problems. Everybody had, even when we went to school, when we went with all the gringos, more or less.
Los bolillos.
We got along pretty much good with them and stuff. They were right down, but I could see the friction as we got older between the races. I could see that. And it was shocking to me because to me a lot of them didn't think I was Mexican. A lot of them didn't think of it. And then when I see them treat my buddies, you know, I said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. As we got older, I realized that we were being treated different.
Yeah.
But yet, they didn't, it wasn't that
Yeah, we
obvious.
had another meeting over here.
What was your experience?
Okay.
Yeah, we always spoke Spanish. We grew up speaking Spanish.
Okay.
When we started going to school, it's when we learned English. I remember a lot of the games, all of them that were Spanish we could play. Those older kids who already were in school and knew English, they had English-speaking games, and you couldn't participate in those. And I remember the transition. Once you went to school, you could participate in the English-speaking games.
Yeah. Was any part of it growing up, I mean, you just mentioned like Spanish, right, at home until you went to school. Was any part of that growing up that you think back maybe that it was particularly Mexican? This was growing up here in Ohio with our games, with specifically a Mexican flavor or culture to it. Can you point to anything like that, or did you feel like it was more integrated with the rest of the?
As we grew, it started changing. A lot of us, I'm gonna give you credit, in my family. My oldest brother, my oldest sister spoke Spanish, same here. My younger brother, who was 3 years younger than I, raised in the same house, raised by the same parents, under the same conditions and what have you. As he grew up to manhood, he sort of like lost all his Spanish. I took him to Mexico back in 1968, I think it was, something like that, 69. We went to my mother's hometown, and he didn't remember anything because we stayed there in the early 40s, okay? He didn't remember a thing, it was like a dream or like a fog, actually, because he didn't remember anything. I remember taking him to certain places and where we used to play and what have you. It didn't ring a bell, and family that we had there couldn't understand why I was able to communicate, whereas he wasn't able to this day. Okay, my brother is long gone now, but he never, maybe he didn't want to, I don't know. I never asked him, I just, well, you want to speak? Well, I don't speak, that's your problem. You know, that's my feeling about it, okay? And I don't know about the rest of the fellas raising their own children. Some do insist that they speak Spanish. Sometimes we carry some of the traditions from the old country, some of us don't. Some of us don't care to. The only time we're Mexican is the Cinco de Mayo and the 16th of September. Okay, the rest of the year, maybe La Posada or La Fiesta de la Virgen de Guadalupe, those are the only days. The rest of the year, we are what we are. We go into our own little world, and with our family, with our sons, daughters, grandchildren, neighbors, or what have you, that's where you're at. Once in a while, I meet my friends here that we've known each other for
We see a
many,
lot of
many
friends,
years.
we see a lot of friends at funerals.
Yeah, that's about the only place where you see each other is at a funeral. Okay, that's the way it is today. Okay? One little thing I want to tell you,
I'm sorry.
and Pepe's the only one that'll know what I'm going to say. We all used to sweep a potato out of the house. We would put a mega fire out in this empty lot that was right next door to his house. Okay, we would make a fire, and everybody would run home and find the biggest potato they could find. And we'd clean it up, and we would throw it in the ashes, but you made sure you knew which one was yours, you know. That was a treat. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a treat for us. To take that potato after it had been baked or whatever, like singed and burnt and God knows what else happened to that potato. And this is what we ate. We among ourselves, we used to sit and laugh and talk about this. Oh, my potato this or my potato that, or whatever it was. But we all had unity there. We never, well, we had an argument, but we didn't get the fisting.
Yeah.
We do not fist each other. Each one of us went into our merry ways when we grew up. And the initial time that I can experience and say that I experienced my first case of prejudice. Okay? At age 16, I drove my parents' car. It wasn't a new car, but it was a car. And we used to have school dances on Friday nights. And after the party or the dance, a lot of us used to get together and we would go to a drive-in restaurant and just go and sit and laugh and talk and eat a hamburger, french fries, or whatever you want.
Another thing.
This young girl asked for a ride home, apart from the other girls that were with me in the vehicle. They were friends, that's all. There was nothing there. I said, yeah, I'll give you a ride. So, she lived on the east side of town. And I took her home. And I didn't know anything until Monday what had happened. Her father asked her, who brought you home? Oh, somebody from school. Well, who was this somebody from school? Oh, a friend of mine by the name of Art. Art what? Then she hit the vowel sound and hit Garcia. And so was somebody from South Philly, and he pushed the panic button and said the magic word. I don't want you on your ground for 10,000 years, or whatever it was. To this day, I don't even know who it is. I have no idea who it is. But yet her parents told their child, 16-year-old girl. Okay? But she never came back and told me anything, but her girlfriends, who were friends of mine, who to this day are dear friends of mine, told me what happened. That was my first experience. I said, wow, somewhere of a grown up at 16. Okay. Besides that, I don't recall younger, we may have heard the word, but we didn't use it. Okay? We didn't use the magic word that the President of the United States used yesterday. Okay? But in fact, we didn't even use it. If we were going to call like Jay or Ben or one of the other black kids in the neighborhood,
Ramses.
yeah, we never called them anything. We would say, well, is Jay going to play with us today? Or Leroy? Well, we knew who they were. There was the black family that lived on the next street over, but they came, they played with us just like anything else. We never thought about that word.
The adults are, they're started with the
But we
kids.
never had that word.
Yeah.
Never used it. We might have used it in anger as an adult because we didn't learn from society what these words meant.
Did you have similar experience or?
Well, no, like they say, when I was raised in Texas, I came here when I was 17. But up there, like the Mo was saying, they see a group of Mexican walk and they make a split. And I think there were a lot of white people then over there. I started drinking young. We used to go to the, white places bar. We used to get in a fight because they call us spits or pepper bells, and everything. And then that's what got the blood. But no, back home there was a lot of violence because simple reason we had a big flood in 1949, and it was like black, Mexicans, white. And that time, the whole black section got full of water. You see people floating, and we were over here, but we couldn't cross Main Street to go to the, the white people. But for a long time, I remember that we could sit any place, and the black people sit in the back, and they had white and colored fountains to drink, and we could drink at anyone, but like they were saying. It was a lot of violence. For me, it was, I was raised in a lot of violence,
In Texas.
in Texas. And then there was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we dances all over the place, and some places we call them Saturdays Jamaitas. It's just all Spanish that we go and have a good time and everything, but most of it was wind up fighting. And then when I came up here, that's where I was used to miss Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here there was a dance or a picnic every 6 months. And then the same band played all the time. Chuck Ramirez, I think. I think he used to play Pola music, but he put it in Mexican, and we'd still dance on it, polkas. And that's what got me quiet down, because 5 years later I went back, and I was going to stay. My friend said, if you want to stay, you can stay. And I went up with the guys, certain guys that were left over, went to a bar, Main Street. I was old enough to drink there, and same thing when I left 5 years ago, and my brother said, are you going to stay there? And I got home and said, what time are you leaving? He said, 5 in the morning. He says, are you going, or are you going to stay or go? I said, you know what, I'm going back. My mom says, thank God. Because she knew what was going on, and like I said, and I was raised here more, and with less violence. We had our troubles here off and on, but not like back home, like every night, we Mexican fights against Mexicans. Or, different places until we, a lot of places that we couldn't go because we get in trouble, we get drunk, we go. We get in but everything, like my mom talked Spanish, my dad talked a little bit of English. He talked a lot when he was sleeping. My mom says, I don't understand him, he's talking English. But he really was short English, but that's how I came over here. Because my brother brought me, really, my oldest brother. My dad was says, I can't do nothing with it. He said, I take this. No, don't take it. He's going to give your wife a lot of trouble. It's not necessary for him giving you trouble. But he gave me my up and downs. He quit me and everything. And then later on in years, I stopped drinking, I joined Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've been sober 45 years for the grace of God. I lost my first one because of my drinking. And I blame everybody that wasn't related with alcohol. And today I can say that I'm grateful for that. And just live one day at a time, getting old.
Did you all get married here in Ohio?
Yes,
Are your wives Mexican or
my wife's Hungarian.
Hungarian? Okay.
Mine was born here,
Okay.
Mexican.
Mexican.
And another thing about what Echo was saying, in Fort Worth, there's different models or neighborhoods. And like in Fort Worth, I can name, remember TP, Rock Island,
South side.
La Loma,
La
La
Loma.
Norte, north side, and all different, and all there, like where I live, the north side, you had Main Street right there, and our barrio from 23rd to 12th Street, this side, all Mexican, mostly, majority would be all Mexican. The other side of Main Street was all Güeros there.
Yeah, white.
And they had movies, at the Brink Park, they had movies, certain days of the week. We went, we could go over there, but as soon as the movie was over, we'd run to this outside. You know, so, and then another thing, I'll get to change the subject to, after we grew up over here in Lorain, I grew up, worked in Lorain, once I was retired. In 2001, Echo and his brother started get 1, 2, 3 guys together. I have all that information as a group. And finally it grew. I have the names of all the guys that could attend the breakfast. And at one time I had about 52 in that group. And right now I have about 11 or 12 that passed away already.
Oh,
But we've been getting together. In fact, that's where we were this morning. This morning we had 10 that got together.
so I want to come back to that question in a little bit, but first let's talk
Well,
about
all
those
our
wives.
I call them recycled teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay, get back.
Just tell me about your wives, how you met and
No, well, I married 3 white girls.
3 white girls, okay.
Yeah. And still was.
From Ohio?
Yeah, from here, from Ohio, yeah. Well, 2 from, no, 1 from Lorain and 1 from North Ridgeville, and another one way out in the country, some farm place. Someone that was today
Güeros,
changed.
right?
Huh?
Or Güeros.
Yeah.
And Mexico wouldn't take you.
Why? No, the Mexican will beat you up, they don't care. Yeah, but no, it's, everybody's, that's why like my dad used to say, what make you marry an American girl? I says, I don't know, maybe because I want to change, everybody's married to Mexicans and all this, and I want to change it to different.
Yeah.
And my little sister got married to a white guy too. And then now everybody's mixed, black, white, everything. My nieces, they're 3 times nieces, you know, that generation.
Yeah.
They're all mixed, we're all the same. For me, there's no discrimination about black, white, or anything. Okay? We're all human beings, and we have to care for each other, you know. Some people we don't like, but we just go along, you know.
Did you marry a Mexican?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican,
The
okay.
border of Puerto Rico,
Okay.
came in the late 40s to Ohio.
Great. What was that like? So most of you married somebody, or some of you married somebody from a different heritage.
Well, I married a Hungarian.
Hungarian?
Never heard Hungarian. But we were married young.
Yeah.
I was 18 and she was 16.
Very young.
Very young. I
Yeah.
had 4 kids. And all I did was work.
Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah, with 4 kids, right? What was it for your families? For
Well,
your
it
kids
was
growing
rough
up?
for my dad, because we came from Texas to visit. He didn't want to go eat at our house, because he had to meet my in-laws, and he claimed he didn't know no English, or he didn't know how to pick up a knife or a fork. We would raise them. Even myself, I was growing up tortilla. You know, it was a tortilla. We didn't have no knives and forks. We had to learn that. Well, I did, and but that's why he says, and he used to get mad. He said, yeah, you put them out to a kitchen. I said, no, they want to meet you, Dad. They want to know who's my dad. No, you. He always was disappointed. My mom, she met my first wife, and she talked to her in Spanish, and my wife would look at her and this and that. Like one time she was looking for she was cooking green beans, and what they call that, el cedazo, you know, to rinse the water out of, screen.
Cedazo?
Yeah, we call it cedazo, I think. And my wife was looking for one of them, and my mom was sitting in the kitchen looking at her, and she was telling her what it was. And I was in the living room with my dad, and She says, I don't understand. And then my mom, she don't know that, but she said, see? And she went by the window to scream.
Oh.
She says, she said that the screen is in that other cabinet. And sure enough, she didn't know, but she knew what she was looking for. She went to the screen of the window. He says, yeah, yes. He says, but they,
Communicated.
yeah.
Was it difficult? I mean, you shared some of
Yes,
it.
it was.
Was it difficult to have a partner, a wife from a different heritage?
Well, her parents, would just say they were very, they weren't too happy, but eventually they came around. But my whole family, my oldest brother married a Spanish girl from New York City. My other brother married an Italian from Cleveland. My other brother got married, my sister married an Irish guy, and my other sister married a Juanito from Foulis College. And none of us married into a race as far as Mexican.
Did you try to pass on any of your traditions to your children?
So
I never had any.
You didn't have children?
So some of them, I tried to teach them. I wasn't home enough for all of that work. My wife would speak, she understood Spanish, because we lived at home with my mother for a while, and she understood it. She could understand it, but she couldn't speak it. And then I didn't speak it too much, because the only ones I really talked Spanish to was my parents. Basically, because I was so wrapped up working and everything else, I lost a lot of my Spanish as far as it goes.
See, I didn't have too much trouble here, being an American girl. But back home, like even with this wife that I have today, my only sister, she passed away. And when we got married, well, she didn't want me to marry her or anything. I said, well, man, I won't have a sister. She said, you think that I'm going to pick you instead of my wife? You don't give me what I need. You're my sister. And she finally realized no matter what she says, I wasn't going to obey. And when we used to go visit, it was funny. Sometimes me and my wife talk about the past and everything. She said, like your older sister, when we used to go visit, she thought that she was living in, and we were staying in a motel. Because I didn't even know until she told me, why does your sister change the sheets every day? I says, why? Our sheets. I says, I don't know. She comes from a better, seemed like we always put ourselves down. That she was better than us. No, we're the same. She was raised in a farm. She didn't know nothing about it. I said, no, but she's, And I said, don't be doing that. You're hurting her more than being, and then she stopped. I said, no, we gotta do all this. You don't have to treat her like you treat me. And finally, they got acquainted real good, and now, well, she's passed away, but she got to love my wife and everything. All my family back home, they really like her a lot and love her and everything, That's the way it is now today. But it's hard, it was hard for me. Over here, I really didn't care because I was really losing. If my in-laws didn't like me, I didn't care. I got hurt, what the hell do I care, But that was life, the difference. Even with my mom, and like I said, my dad, it was kind of hard, but.
So let me ask one last question since the time is almost up here. Mo, you mentioned a little bit about this breakfast club that you have.
Breakfast group, like I said, I call it recycle teenagers. But we all get together every Tuesday. We've been doing that since 2001. And like I said before, Echo and his brother Felix was the one that started with 2 or 3 guys, and then eventually worked out around, and more guys showed up. Sometimes we had 20, 25, even some guys from out of state or out of town, when they come to visit, they know that we get together. so they'll come and join us, you know. And we
Okay,
have,
all right.
like I said, we lost already about 10, no, 11 or 12 that passed away already. But still, we have a bunch of more. And we have pictures of the group. And Joe Muskis, he's the one that he was a photographer. He's the one that his mother was a Puerto Rican. She was the only one here in Lorain. And he could tell you more about it. And if you wanted to know more about that's why you're here, to know more about the community. Because Frank Jacinto, I don't know if you ever heard of him. Frank Jacinto, he was the first principal here in Ohio. And he and Gene Rivera was a Puerto Rican. But Frank put up a book about the Mexican community here in Lorain. And Gene put it about Puerto Rico, and he got pictures of all that. And if you'd like to see it sometime, it's got the whole history, the story of what you want to know about the Mexican community there. And I have the pictures of the group, how we started. One time they had an article in the Lorain Journal. The photographer went over there and got, like you, comments from the guys, what they used to do. Remember, Pepe? You put in there about the blast furnace over there. You could guide yourself. You come from out of town, you saw that big flame.
Oh, yeah.
You know where you were.
Got all that.
Yeah.
got all
You
that.
see the steel plant, you knew you were coming to already. All that pollution.
Now you can, in fact, there's several books of the Mexican community and pictures of all that. Like in 1981, they celebrated this international festival that they have every this month, June. You should come over here in June. It's going to be around June the 24th. In fact, they had yesterday they had international breakfast.
Yeah.
And black people were spotlighted, so I had a speaker. And according to this paper, they had packed houses. And one time there were a Mexican community that was spotlighted, different nationalities spotlighted every year. And they have this over here across
Black River,
Black River Landing.
Black River Landing, there you go.
A lot of people.
By the bridge.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, if you have a chance, come on over, you'll see what's going on over here.
Absolutely.
It's on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, so it's this weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah, I think wasn't the first time they had international, the Mexicans were spotlighted? The first one?
and we donate a flag.
I think it was the first one, the first international one, because there were like 13 nationalities, wasn't it?
Yeah.
13 nationalities in Lorain. And first group that was spotlighted was the Mexicans. And I think the first princess was a Mexican.
Oh, really?
I know we put on a good show that time. We had some mariachis and the dance group.